Hey, welcome to Mayowa's world. So I'm gonna do my first Q&A, and I wrote on Instagram, Facebook, and in my last YouTube video that if any of you had questions, write them in the comment section and I will answer them. And most of the questions are around my freeform locks, but anyone could ask me anything, so I will answer all the questions that were submitted. Let's get started. Did I ever try to wear regular locks before freeform? And if so, what differences in behavior towards myself did I notice? I never had regular locks before I had freeforms, but I did have fake locks. I think people associated me with being more spiritual. You know, I think there's something about having long locks, especially if they have gray in them. I think that you're just like, ooh, what does she know? You know, and I didn't know shit because they weren't my real hair, but I got a lot of compliments, and then it made me actually more open to the lock community because I was like, oh, these aren't my real hair, but I like the way I feel with them and I like the look, you know? So I think having fake locks made me more inclined to have real locks. Did I teach myself how to edit my videos? And the answer is yes. I taught myself. My advice for people who want to learn how to do anything like film related or design related is work on something that you actually love, and then you'll learn to design faster. So another question I got is, what are some important things to know / consider about living abroad? The important thing to consider when living abroad is that even though different kinds of cultures can be overwhelming and scary, there is something within people all over the world that connects us together. It's good to put out the best of your energy, and you will get that from people who are foreign to you. And so I think that's the most important thing when traveling abroad, is to be open and present your best self, you know what I mean? But be honest to you. Don't pretend to be like in coffee shops drinking coffee in Paris because you feel like that's what you're supposed to do. If that's not what you're into, don't do that. If you want to go to a black hair store in Paris, you might meet your friends there. So don't try to act cultured because you're living abroad. Be the exact same person that you are in your own neighborhood and find that in another country. So one person wrote, I'm thinking of doing freeform. Did you have to do anything special to start the process, like covering your hair at night or wearing a hat until it locks? So the answer is no. So I didn't know I was freeforming until after I freeformed, if that makes sense. Like I had twisted some of my hair because I was just doing 2-strand twists, and I didn't twist all of it. And then I was reading Bell Hook's book All About Love, and literally midway through the book, I was like, I refuse to touch my hair ever again. I refuse to do anything to my hair. I refuse to comb my hair. I refuse to like touch my hair, like manipulate it. And so I just like left my hair like that. So some of my hair was in 2-strand twists. Some of my hair was just completely out, but I just left my hair. And sorry, my knees are hurting me, girl. I am like trying to stay in frame, but I just left my hair out and I just slept and I didn't do anything. I didn't wear anything at night. I think if anything, wearing something at night would maybe make your hair lock not as quick. I think the more rugged your hair, you can get your hair to be, the faster it will lock. So like the less you're washing it, the more nappy it is, the better it's gonna lock. So whatever makes your hair more nappy, AKA not doing anything if your hair is naturally nappy, then your hair will lock. So but my hair is super kinky, so even when I had an afro, if I left an afro for like, if I didn't comb my hair in like 2 or 3 days, it would start to clump and mat. So I naturally have hair that freeforms, you know, and I was always fighting against it. So it depends on your hair texture. If you have looser hair, it might take you a little bit longer. Someone wrote, what challenges have I experienced living the freeform lifestyle? So I think there's a great community of people who are very supportive, and I think that there are some people who are also just unaware. I think that the problem with freeform locks is that there's just not enough information out there. I think people don't really understand it. I didn't understand it before I did it. It was only because of YouTube that I was able to learn kind of what was going on. Someone wrote, why you so cute though? That's such a good question. I would say, to be honest, it's a lot of water and listening and dancing to hip hop music. So someone said, what inspired me to get freeform locks? The book All About Love by Bell Hooks. And I like, once again, I preach for her. I preach for that book. The book literally made me just realize how much I constantly modify myself for the approval of others. Like I think I always changed up looks, but the deeper reason behind that was because I felt like I had to always look different to find like a new way to get love or something. There was some weird reasoning inside of there that I figured out, that the book just really exploited it in my face. It was like, that was the reason. And I was like, damn. And then I had this feeling that was like, if I continue to keep modifying myself, I will never be happy, and I have to just stay who I am and just say, this is me. So getting the freeform locks was like my way of saying, hey, I can't keep changing for you. Would I recommend them over traditional locks? So, I mean, I'm biased, right? But I actually would, because I feel like with locks, feeling like there are so many barriers for you before you can get it, to some can be very intimidating, particularly to those who don't have money or don't even know who to go to. When I think of getting, professional locks, I think you go to someone, they do your hair, and you keep going, or you don't go, or you learn how to do it yourself, and that's fine, that works for some people. But for me, it was just kind of like turning my back on the idea of having to pay money or see someone to feel good about myself or to be a finished product. What advice do I give women struggling with self-esteem issues? It's a really tough one. I would learn to find out what it is about your personality that you just love. Like, you're like, oh, you know what, I think I'm funny, or you know what, I have a good way of asking questions, or like, oh, you know what, I'm a really good listener. Like, find what it is about you that makes you feel like you have value, and work on things to build that aspect up. And when you have that aspect up big and big, then slowly everything else grows in comparison. But and I'll also read any of Maya Angelou's autobiographies, any of them. Like Maya Angelou, reading her books made me so confident. So autobiographies actually really help me when I feel insecure about myself, because I read about other people's messy lives and I'm like, thank God. Would you become intimate with a clone of yourself? Intimate's a strong word. I might be acquaintances, I might be neighbors, right? But intimate, I think we would look weird going out in public together. I think we would be too competitive. I think we would be like, oh, how much can you lift? No, how much can you lift, right? I think it would be messy. It would be messy. Is it easier to love or to be loved? Is it easier to love or to be loved? Which is easier for me? I don't know, neither. Neither is easier. Both is equally just as hard. So I would pick neither. I think to love another person is a lot of work. It's a lot of selflessness. It's a lot of understanding. And to be loved, it's a lot of confronting your insecurities and the things that might prevent you from achieving. It's a lot of work. I mean, both of them is really hard. I would rather be filled with food. I'd rather have food than having to pick between those two. Okay. So yes, this might have been a longer video than usual. This is my first Q&A. I'm interested to know what kind of videos you want me to make. I am loving the comment section under my YouTube videos. It's been amazing just reading what everyone has to say. I have really amazing people who watch my channel. And yes, thank you for watching. Have a good evening. Choose.